Right, it's an interesting Wednesday. Good morning and thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast. I am Mike Okwoche. Certainly, I'm not here alone. I am here with Kemi Foladiemo, my colleague. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Chief Mike. Chief Mike.
You know.
Good morning. Good to see you
Good
again.
morning. Good to see you.
Right.
You know, last week one was away, but we're back now and doing things and so on. It's midweek already and counting down.
We missed you.
Oh, yeah.
By the
I
way,
missed everyone too.
You know, I won't say more than that. I won't say more than
No,
that.
but we're back.
All right. Good to see
yeah,
you, Mike.
good to see you too.
Right.
Right. Now, let's talk about what is going on right now. You were in the court, and as it is, the issue of Godwin Emefiele is what everyone is talking about right now. But now the federal government has applied to withdraw the alleged possession of firearms charge against the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Now, the prosecution also said that it is pending 20-count fresh charges against a defendant bordering on alleged illegal procurement. My colleague Kemi Foladiemo was at the Federal High Court in Lagos where all this happened.
Last week, the vacation judge of the Federal High Court Lagos, Nicholas Owebo, fixed Tuesday, August the 15th, to hear applications from both the defense, which is seeking to have the charges dropped, on account of the failure of the prosecution to obey the court order granting bail to the defendant, while the prosecution is seeking the leave of court to appeal against the order granting him bail. But on Tuesday, the Director of Public Prosecutions at the Federal Ministry of Justice told the judge that his decision to withdraw the charges is informed by emerging facts and circumstances of the case, which requires closer investigation. In his response, the lead defense counsel said such an application under Section 174, subsection 1 and 3 of the 1999 Constitution cannot be made orally. He also said the federal government cannot make any further application until it has released Mr. Emefiele as directed by the court. The DSS, fighting off correctional officers within the court's premises, on July the 25th, rearrested Mr. Emefiele within the court's premises following his arraignment on a 2-count charge of alleged illegal possession of firearms and ammunition.
So we're withdrawing pending further investigation, at the end of which we'll probably come back with more charges. There is also another pending charge at the FCT High Court as we speak. So all this combine to slow down the process of complying with the orders of the court. It's about the charges at the FCT High Court, conferring unlawful advantage. There are charges that borders on procurement offenses under the ICPC Act.
Regarding the failure of the DSS to release Mr. Emefiele on bail, the DPP said there were administrative protocols which the agency had to abide by before transferring the detainee to a correctional facility as ordered by the judge, which delayed its obedience of the court's order.
Would you prefer access or the obedience of an order that says you can go to your house and sleep? Which will you take? We don't care about access. We are not asking for access. We are saying that the Nigerian laws must be obeyed. And if the courts in this country give an order, God forbid the day that court orders will be subject to interpretation of every subordinate agency.
The judge adjourned to Thursday, August the 17th, to give a ruling on the matter, adding that this latest development is a surprise to the court. Kemi Foladiemo, TVC News, Lagos.
All right, so many Nigerians who either understand what's going on or don't understand are still interested in this whole issue because of the man who is in the eye of the storm right now, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Now, Kemi, you were at the court and you saw all of those. One would say, in fact, I was engaging someone yesterday evening and they said, well, this is just the beginning of so many things that we may not even have seen as far as this case against Godwin Emefiele is concerned.
You have a good point. I take your point, Mike, and that is also reflected. Your views are also reflected, by many people also share this opinion, and the federal government isn't exactly, saying all that they possibly have against Mr. Godwin Emefiele. After all, according to the law, he still stands innocent, but, until proven guilty. But going by the feelers we got from the Director of Public Prosecutions yesterday, he confirmed more or less that there are pending charges, more pending charges, fresh charges against Mr. Emefiele are not exactly in Lagos. And there are also indications that the fact that the prosecution wants to withdraw the earlier charge in which Mr. Emefiele has already pleaded not guilty to, there are indications, and he said as much, that that withdrawal is not for him to be let off the hook, so to speak. They will most likely bring up heavier charges, because the current one that he's facing now here in Lagos, the one about the alleged illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, it's it carries about 5 years jail term. So people have said it's bailable, and he was given bail, to that effect, but he still remains in the DSS detention. So there are indications, strong at that even though they will be dropped, or they want those charges to be dropped, he would be rearraigned here in Lagos. And then the issue of the pending charges in Abuja, even though we asked the Defense Counsel that question, what his comments are or response to those fresh charges assessed by the federal government, but the defense said they are not aware of that. For you to say you want to file fresh charges, at least the defense must have been aware, they must have been served with the court documents. And so until that is done, it's their prerogative, the defense says. It's the federal government, they are the prosecution, they can bring anything they want to bring. But most importantly for them is that anywhere they want to take Mr. Emefiele to, as long as he's still in detention, despite an order, directing that he be released, the defense says it will miss the federal government, at every junction, with that issue of the prosecution needs or must obey the directive of the court that he be released on bail.
Yeah, and as it is, this issue of cherry picking, what court order to obey and which one not to obey by the federal government has been on a long time. Remember the days of Dasuki, and the others. A lot of persons feel that the federal government sometimes has not been a good example or a good role model when it comes to obeying court orders, and all of that. And people are still expecting that. You recall that before now, there were reports of allegations of some of the earlier allegations from the DSS against Emefiele, where that he was funding terrorism, and so on. One was expecting that we would have seen all of those, but we've not seen them yet. Maybe investigation has revealed that maybe it wasn't so, or maybe that is still coming up somewhere in the future. No one knows, but it looks like the way, from this standpoint, it seems the journey has just begun and it's not ending anytime soon.
It appears so, Mike, and the federal government, or the prosecution in this case now, didn't share that information, even though we've asked severally, what about those allegations regarding terrorism. Of course, there were speculations at the time, and so far we haven't, gotten, wind of any more details in that regard. But the federal government told the court, that there are pending investigations, for other possible crimes that Mr. Emefiele is alleged to have committed. And that is also the standpoint for them to, hold on to him further. The prosecution also said, something around that. He was categorical in that it's not like they wanted to disobey the court's order. They are a law-abiding institution, and there are protocols. That was the word he used. There are administrative protocols that, the SSS or the DSS needs to do and put in place before transferring a detainee to another agency. And it was in the midst of that, as well as the investigation for other possible crimes, that they had a delay. So it's not like they wanted to disobey. But of course, that also got the defense also objecting, strongly too. But the court order has been made, and the court order is made to be obeyed. So it's not for you to now choose when you want to, and if at all you even want to do that, come to court, and, come to equity with clean hands, so to speak. And the prosecution is saying, in any case, of the defense is saying, strike out all the charges, don't give the prosecution any more favors, don't grant them any more orders, because there is an order that they are yet to obey. And the challenge now is more or less on the judiciary to see how it will assert itself in this matter, because observers, many people are watching within and abroad. So it remains to be seen how the judiciary will stand up, for itself, because this is a key challenge. It's a key test on the judiciary, and Thursday is another day in court, and we want to see how it will all play out, because the defense is still holding on to that position, and many people share the agreement, but many people also look at the prosecution's standpoint in a way like it will not be the first, and this is the matter, according to the DSS, a matter of national security. So yes, it's again a test now, the rule of law versus national security. We're having another example playing out, and it's interesting. We don't know how it will all end, but it's definitely interesting to watch out for.
We'll wait to see how these things pan out. Of course, sometimes it looks like one day, one drama, one day, one direction, and so on.
Who is next?
Exactly. So we'll wait to see how it goes. All right, you're watching TVC Breakfast. Next, it's time for us to look at the headlines